Good evening. I just want to make a few comments as the chair of the Fen Edge Community Association. I'm not going to read through my report word for word, but I'm just going to pick out a few of the highlights. Obviously, this meeting's taking place on Zoom, online, which is a first for us, and that's a reflection of the very unusual times we are going through at the moment. And I fully recognize how immensely frustrating and difficult that is for many community groups and associations in the Fen Edge, which a lot of our activities have had to be curtailed. But we also know through these times the real importance of those groups and associations and societies and keeping people connected. And when we get back to something like normality, our members, the community associations groups, are going to have an immense role to play in terms of rebuilding that sort of fabric and connectivity between people in our organisations. There have obviously been some real disappointments. So the cancellation of the fun run in particular, which Mark Herworth and his team have put so much effort into, is really to be regretted. Hopefully that will be reactivated when things get back to normal, but that was a real disappointment, as was also the cancellation of the Fen Edge Twinning Association's weekend as well, which would have been last weekend. The spring edition of the Fen Edge News also was interrupted, so we didn't get that delivered to every household throughout the Fen Edge, which was also disappointing, and that's obviously had a knock-on effect on advertisers as well as residents. And lastly, some of our grant-making activity was also interrupted. So we had a major grant to the Village College for some audiovisual equipment, which actually would be our largest grant we've ever made. But that is being sort of put on hold, pending it's getting back together to talk about the details of that grant. However, while that's sort of negative, I'm also very proud of the contribution which FECA has made in these times. So this meeting is taking place on a Zoom account, which has been paid for by FECA. That is available for other member organisations to utilise. Some are already taking advantage of that. If you want to use this Zoom account, then please feel free to contact me and we'll make it available to you. We've used the delivery network for the Fen Edge News to post leaflets, COVID-19 support group throughout Cottenham as well, which was great. And I'm really proud of the fact that our treasurer, Bob Turner, made a huge contribution to the COVID support group in Cottenham and in Willingham by sort of creatively repurposing the fun run system for taking online entries into a kitty system, so that vulnerable and self-isolating individuals and their families could actually put money into an account, which then someone could go and shop on their behalf. That was absolutely tremendous and has been subsequently sort of copied by the Co-op as their model for how their nationwide service works. That has been incredibly helpful, and FECA has also put in the financial support to underpin that kitty system as well. So I'm very proud of our contribution in that area. The year ahead is obviously going to produce a lot of challenges as we try to ensure that, as I said before, the community groups and charities get up running again and running as effectively as possible. We've decided in the first instance to extend all memberships to the end of June. That hopefully will kind of be helpful to community associations and groups in the current environment. We also, 2021 also is going to be hopefully a Fen Edge Festival year. That will really mark things getting back to normal. And it's at this time of year that we'd normally expect a group to be forming to start work in September and October, thinking about actually the organisation of that event. So hopefully we will get that back moving. And we've already fielded inquiries from people about the dates of that activity. So more than that, though, as I said before, I expect that there'll be a real role for the organisation, the community association, supporting our members as they try and get back and re-establish their activities in the community, and we stand ready to be able to help you do that. Looking back on this year, it's been pretty satisfying in many ways. The membership is now up to 69 member organisations, which is incredible. And I think those member organisations have really seen the benefit of the sort of progress which has been made at the Fen Edge Community Association over the last years. There's been a lot of work on the quality of the Fen Edge news, the Facebook page and the website. All means that FECA is able to promote members' activities and provide useful information to the community. Our grant giving also has proceeded well. We've given out £8,462 in grants to various groups. That's less than last year, which was 10,117. Would have been greater if we'd have been able to progress the large grant to the village college for the audio-visual equipment, and also various grants like to the Twinning Association, which didn't come through because of COVID-19. We've got a strong reserve position, £60,604, which is more than enough to be able to address and absorb some of the pressures which we expect to see over the forthcoming year. This is also going to be an important AGM in one respect, that we're going to be voting on new constitution. This is an important step for us in that the old constitution was really not suitable, and it sort of wasn't really reflecting the way in which the current organisation has grown. And it now has it's a significant entity, the Fen Edge Community Association, with significant financial resources. It also organises some very large-scale events like the Fen Edge Festival. And the old constitution really needed updating to provide much greater clarity on the appointment of trustees, general governance and decision-making around commitment of resources. So we hope this gets approved at this meeting, and that next year's AGM, subject to the approval of the Charity Commissioners, will take place under that new constitution. Last but not least, I just want to express my thanks again to the support I've received from the trustees of the committee and the sterling work they've done on your behalf over the past year. It's a really effective team, and I hope that the forthcoming year will see that team getting back into gear and operating as they did last year. And one last word, and that's thank you for all the members for all the work you do out in the community. I know how important it is in the Fen Edge communities to see the activities which you undertake, and sort of thank you for all that you do on behalf of all the people in our villages who enjoy and benefit from your activities. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Okay, well, if there's no comments or questions,